ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी. So today is a very auspicious day. It's the disappearance day of Madhvacharya. So we will talk something on his glories. The glorification of a pure devotee purifies our heart. The heart which is filled with so much of contamination, which has no taste for hearing Krishna Katha, also becomes conducive to hear. And acharyas like Madhvacharya, Ramanujacharya, they are all very exalted personalities. Today is Madhvacharya's disappearance, tomorrow is Ramanujacharya's disappearance. So today you will hear about Madhva and tomorrow you will hear about Ramanujacharya. So it's a great fortune that we are getting a chance to hear about them. Before we begin, let me ask you this question. Raise hands, don't jump into the answer chorus way. What are the 4 bona fide sampradayas which are there for God realization? Raise your hand. Gauda, okay. Madhvacharya, what is that? One sampradaya, okay. 2, okay. बाकी 2 आप बोलो. वही दोनों मुझे भी पता था. अब सीट. हाँ? नहीं, raise hands. Okay, Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. He knows. Okay, will not ask him. Bhakta? No, the Sampradaya names, not Ramanujacharya. Okay. One time, we'll get back to you. Okay. Sri Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya, Kumara Sampradaya, Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. So there are these 4 bona fide sampradayas, and if we want to realize God or if we want to have self-realization, we necessarily need to go through any of these 4 sampradayas. So what are the 4 sampradayas? He said Sri Sampradaya, Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. It is one. There are different people who are coming in the sampradayas. This is our sampradaya. This is Gauda, Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. So Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, then there is Rudra Sampradaya, and then there is Kumara Sampradaya. So the Lord imparts this knowledge at the beginning to some very special authorities who are very qualified. So 4 of them is Sri. Sri refers to Lakshmi Devi and her followers. That's Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya. And the main prominent acharya in that is Ramanujacharya. So there will be a quiz at the end. Okay. What is your name? Shubham. You keep coming for meditation. So meditate on hearing. Questions will come. Extra prasadam will be given if you get right answers. So Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, first one. And the main acharya there is Ramanujacharya. Okay. And the first recipient of the knowledge is Lakshmi. Then comes Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, the sampradaya that we all belong to. The first recipient is Brahma. So from his name, after him the sampradaya is coming. So that's called Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. Main acharya here is Madhvacharya, whose disappearance we are celebrating today. So Brahma, Madhva, Gaudiya Sampradaya. Then there is a Rudra. Rudra is Lord Shiva. The main Acharya here is Vishnu Sastri. Vishnu Sastri is the main Acharya. Madhvacharya also comes in that. And then there is Kumara Sampradaya. Kumara Sampradaya, the main Acharya is Nimbarka Acharya. Nimbarka. Pushti Marga. So these are the four Sampradayas, and the four main recipients, the prominent ones, I mean the ones who start the Sampradaya, Lakshmi, Brahma, Rudra, Kumaras. And the main Acharyas in them is Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Vishnu Swami, and Nimbarkacharya. Okay. Now, before we speak about Madhvacharya, it's a very important thing to know what is the importance of receiving the knowledge in Parampara, or why should we associate ourselves with Parampara? Because many people don't know, and there are many followers in these days where somebody has got YouTube followers, millions, and people just want to go and start learning from him. They don't know the repercussions of hearing from someone who is like an upstart, who says, I don't have a guru, I don't need any guru, I have never read Bhagavad Gita, but I have thousands and lakhs of followers. There are many, right? All of us we know, inner engineering and so on and so forth. So many of them. Right, so why do we need someone who's coming in the parampara? What is the need? What is it that the person who's coming in parampara can do which others cannot do? So it is mentioned in one of the purports of Prabhupada that a person who is in ignorance cannot obviously give intimate knowledge to satisfy the sincere seekers crying out to be again connected with the Lord. After so much suffering and absorption in the direct cause of that suffering, which is sense stimulation. So a person who himself is in ignorance cannot give that intimate knowledge to satisfy the sincere seekers crying out to be again connected with the Lord. A person who is in ignorance, he cannot give this knowledge. There is a time when every one of us, the soul becomes matured, or he is becoming now he has come to the stage where he is ready to receive the knowledge. But to satisfy the sincere seekers crying to connect with the Lord, a person who is giving that knowledge must be coming in parampara. The personified source of eternal life, who eternally is imbued with happiness and supreme knowledge, is, as we have hinted at, simply waiting for the day when the suffering soul stops to think that it is that he is caught up in. Even the Lord is so kind that he has locally situated himself as the Paramatma or Super Soul who accompanies the individual soul through his sojourn at the hands of material nature. But when those frustrated souls finally come to the desperate platform, I am suffering like anything, but I only really want to be happy. There must be more to this desperate platform. There must be more to life than this. It just doesn't seem to matter what I do. I'm still not happy. Yes, I know I must be engaged in the owner and proprietor of this vast material creation's service. But how? I know material sensual enjoyment is not the goal of life, for these insatiable senses have simply enveloped me in their service for so long, causing forgetfulness of the Supreme Lord. As for the mind, that rascal is no better, for he has tricked me along with the false forgetfulness of the Supreme Lord. Along with ego, as for the mind, that rascal is no better, for he has tricked me along with the false ego for so long into thinking that I had something going for myself in this world. But now I am seeing a fragment of the truth as it is, with somewhat purified intelligence given by the Lord from within. What a mess! This much realization, I know, was brought about by a sincere desire to again unite with the Lord. The coupling of frustration and realization has brought me to this point. Oh my Lord, if you really do exist, or if you can hear me, please get me out of this mess. Now this is a very important thing. This realization is a very powerful thing. This doesn't come so easily, but as you know, in this paragraph, Prabhupada is writing, actually the soul, the Lord is situated in each one of our heart as Paramatma, as Super Soul in this journey. And He's also seeing how much we are suffering trying to satisfy our senses. And when somebody comes to this realization, enough, what a mess when I'm trying to satisfy my senses, how I'm getting entangled in this material world. And how, oh Lord, how I can unite myself with you, how I can engage in your service. What is the way? When that kind of a junction, that kind of a thing comes in somebody's heart in this journey of life, he needs and he must go to a guru. Without guru, this is impossible. The Sastric injunction is Tad Vijnanartham Sagurum Evavigachet. So in Sanskrit, like in our English, there is present tense, past tense, and future tense. So I am going as a present tense. I went, past tense, and I will go is a future tense. But in Sanskrit, there are two more things apart from present, past, and future. There is gachet. Tad vijnanartham sagurum evavi gachet. You must go to a guru. If you want to know the vijnana, the science or the realization of who you are, you must approach a bona fide spiritual master. Jnana, the knowledge is, like we go to this doctor if we have some problems. They know the different bodily parts very well. They know that this body is a yantra, is a machine. That knowledge they have, but they don't have the knowledge of the soul. That knowledge, that vijnana, tad vijnanartham sagurum evavi gachet. One must approach a bona fide spiritual master who can cut the layers of ignorance. The layers of ignorance are so thick, very difficult to overcome them. And that guru must be coming in a parampara. What are the characteristics of the guru who comes in the parampara? Tad vijnanartham sagurum evavi gachet samit pani shrotriyam brahmanishtam. So he must have heard it from his spiritual master, Shrotriyam, and he must be fixed on the platform of Brahman. He should not be something like, okay, so what's going on, Gautam? Like, life is good. So these days you're not seeing so often. Something like, no casual conversation. Guru means heavy. How the heaviness comes? Because he is fixed in the platform of Brahman. Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam. He should have heard this knowledge from his guru, who is a realized soul, and that realized soul must have received the knowledge from his guru all the way up to Krishna, because he is the supreme source of all knowledge. Unless a person has come in that parampara, he cannot remove the ignorance in our heart. It's a very thick layers of knots. This is not easy to get rid of it. Had it been so easy, one class we would have gotten it and then we would have been self-realized, would have gone back home, back to Godhead. It doesn't happen. So that is why very, very important to accept a bona fide spiritual master coming in the parampara. It's a very practical thing. Often people, you ask, so where are you going these days? Yeah, I know, I found some nice group where there's a talk going on about self-realization, self-care, self-help. So many things they talk about selfies, but they have little knowledge about self. Hardly there is anything which is spoken which is relevant to self, the true self. So you need a guru who comes in the bona fide parampara, who can remove the darkness of ignorance from our heart and can relieve us from this cycle of birth and death. Without that it is impossible. So that is why these 4 bona fide sampradayas are very, very important to know. So when we receive knowledge, when we are allowing our ears, the sense of hearing, to some knowledge to come, we should check the authority, the bona fideness of that person who is speaking, not just any random person we should hear. What is the Bhagavad Gita's instruction on the similar line? What Krishna says in the 4th chapter. Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattva darshana. Very important verse. It's a very important injunctions. Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattva darshana. Tattvadarshi, who has seen the truth, can show you the truth. If the person himself is ignorant, he is a blind person, he doesn't know anything. Like we talk amongst ourselves, so this problem is going on, I have this material problem, that problem, this thing. What is the solution? He'll give you a solution which is a temporary relief. Because he doesn't know what is this truth all about. So only a person tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshina. The tattvadarshi guru, when he comes in our life, and when we we submit him, we bow down before him, we submit ourselves, and then question him and do service and render service. Three things. Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam. He can give us this knowledge because he has seen the truth. Very interestingly, the next verse, immediately after that verse, the verse which comes in Bhagavad Gita, yaj jnatva na punarmoham evam yashyasi pandava yena bhutani aseshani drakshami atmani athamai. Very important verse. Yaj jnatva na punarmoham. This moha, this illusion which has been going on for so many lifetimes. So many lifetimes we have been thinking we are part of this material world, and I am this body, I am supposed to enjoy in this material world, and because of which we are cheated, solidly cheated, lifetime after lifetime. Still that moha doesn't go, that illusion doesn't go. But when we receive the knowledge from a Tattvadarshi Guru, yaj jnatva na punarmoham, there is no more illusion, that illusion will be gone. Evam yasyasi pandava, yena bhutani aseshani drakshasi atmani athomai. So it's a very important instruction to know what is this sampradaya, who are the sampradaya acharyas, and why should we receive knowledge from this bona fide sampradaya. Now, coming to Madhvacharya, he's such a powerful acharya, and you are asked to finish the entire work, philosophy about his life in 30 minutes. It's not going to work. So what we will do is we will hear some interesting pastimes about his life and his contributions, but some other time we will hear about his philosophy, philosophically how he defeated this Mayavada, just smashed them. Without acharyas like Madhvacharya, this would have been a big darkness. We would have had no understanding of who the Supreme Lord is, who the soul is, what is the connection of the soul with the Supreme Lord, what is it that he's supposed to do, and why it is so important, and how he could do this so powerfully and convincingly. This is why they are acharyas. And he's not some ordinary person, he is actually an incarnation of Vayu. So let us chant one verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita. You can repeat after me. Madhvacharya sthane aila yanha tattvavadi. No, we'll do it in one line. Madhvacharya sthana aila yanha tattvavadi. Okay, Madhvacharya sthane aila. It is Madhya Lila 9:245. If you want to open it in your phone, Madhya Lila 9th chapter 245th verse. Madhvacharya sthane aila yanha tattvavadi. Udupite Krishna dekhi taha hoila premonmadi. One more time. Madhvacharya sthane aila yanha tattvavadi. Udupite Krishna dekhi taha hoila premonmadi. Did you get it? Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila 9.245. If you type, you will get it. It is there, it is displayed. Madhvacharya sthane aila yaha tattvavadi. Udupite Krishna dekhi taha hoila premonmadi. So the translation is, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu next arrived at Udupi, the place of Madhvacharya, where the philosophers known as Tattvavadis resided. There he saw the deity of Lord Krishna and became mad with ecstasy. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had a South India tour. So he has gone to Udupi, and when he saw this place, Udupi, which is the birthplace of Madhvacharya, and saw the Lord Krishna, he became mad with ecstasy. And we will read from the purports. There's a long purport, but it talks about Madhvacharya's full lifestyle, life history in this. Shripad Madhvacharya took his birth near Udupi, which is situated in the South Kannada district of South India, just west of Sahyadri. This is the chief city of South Kannada province and is near the city of Mangalore, which is situated to the south of Udupi. Near the city of Udupi is a place called Pajaka Kshetra, where Madhvacharya took his birth in a Sivali Brahmana dynasty as the son of Madhyageha Bhatta in the year 1040 Sakabda, AD 1118. According to some, he was born in the year 1160 Sakabda, AD 1238. So Madhvacharya was born to his father's name was Madhyageha Bhatta, and his mother's name was Vedavati. Now there are many things which are not mentioned here, which I will keep adding when we go through this. And there is a very famous commentator, there is a disciple of Madhvacharya. His son has written a biography on Madhvacharya. About him Prabhupada will mention little later. I'll come to that. It's called Madhvacharya. So there he mentions this couple, Madhyageha Bhatta and Vedavati. They had one daughter and two sons. And then these two sons died very prematurely. Some reasons, in earlier days, there used to be, all this kind of things where even the children used to die at pretty young age. So the two sons died. So when the two sons died, they wanted to have another son, this Madhyageha Bhatta and Vedavati. So they used to travel 21 kilometers for 12 years asking for a son to a temple called Atuleshwar Mahadev in Udupi, where they used to go every day and worship that please give us a son. And finally, their prayers were heard when they had Madhvacharya as their son. But as I said, Madhvacharya is not just some ordinary child, right? He is the incarnation of Vayu. So he is the third incarnation of Vayu. The first was Hanuman when he came in Tretya Yuga. Then as Bhima in Dwapara Yuga, and as Madhva in this Kali Yuga. So that is called Madhva Vijay is written by somebody called Narayan Bhatt. So there is Madhva openly identifies himself as the third incarnation of Mukhya Prana, primal breath, alluded to the Rig Veda. It is said that Mukhya Prana takes the form of wind god Vayudev and descends into the mortal world in 3 successive incarnations, as Hanuman, the follower of Ram, as Bhimasen, one of the Pandava, and finally as Madhva, who is in Kali Yuga appears in the guise of a sannyasi. Now interestingly, the name of Madhvacharya when he was a child is Vasudev. Very good. How do you know? You read that. Okay. In his child, actually Madhvacharya has got 3 names. First, his name was Vasudev. When he got sannyas initiation, his name was Purna Pragya or Ananda Tirtha. Later on, he is known as Madhvacharya. So, what is your name? You said Rishabh, Subham. What are the names of Madhvacharya? Purna Pragya, also known as Ananda Tirtha. So there are 4 names basically. So, and interestingly, can you take a guess what age would he have taken sannyas? Huh? Who say? Kamal? 1 साल छोटा कर दिया, 12 साल मिल लिया था. 12 years. At the age of 8, he went and told his parents that I want to take sannyas. And the parents told, you're too young and we don't have another male child. What will happen to us if you take sannyas? Oh, is that the problem? Okay, I will wait till you have another son. He said, we are too old. How can we have a son? But in another 3-4 years, they had a son, somehow by the Lord's arrangement, because Madhvacharya, this is not ordinary this thing. And Madhvacharya, when he was about to take sannyas, they fell down at his feet saying that, please don't leave us. He said, you have already given us permission, because only the sannyasis, people fall down at their feet. So you have already fallen down. So he takes sannyas at the age of 12. Very interestingly, growing up, there are a lot of interesting pastimes which Prabhupada is mentioning. First one is, it is said that once when his father had piled up many debts, so his father had a lot of debts. Okay, and then there was this person from whom they had taken these debts. He had come to their house asking for, give me the money. So, and he had seized some portion of his house where the grains were stored. And Madhvacharya, because he is the incarnation of Hanuman and Bhima, so he used to do Herculean task, and he was a voracious eater. Example of that is given, like, at what age they do Annaprasanna? 3 months? Or what time? 6 months. So for Madhva, he did his Annaprasanna himself. What happened was, his parents were not there, and his mother told her daughter, that you take care of this baby Vasudev. And they had gone. And this Vasudev, like usually the child, they drink milk at once in 2 hours or 3 hours, when they are young. But the Vasudev, he used to drink milk every half an hour. So mother was not there, and this child, the poor girl, she didn't know what to do. And then when he was just 3 months old, Vasudev got down from the bed, went to the store directly, ate 40 kgs of grain. That is Madhvacharya. And then growing up, there is another time when his mother told that you should take care of this preparations which are made for the deities. I have to go and get something from outside. When she came, she saw that there was a huge stone. He has kept it on top of that preparations for the Lord. He was so heavy. He was so powerful. So. And then this one, when he was hungry, and then he was asking his father, where can I get food? And said, we don't have food because I have taken this debt, and this person is he keeps coming and asking for money, and we don't have anything to give. And he has seized a portion of this storehouse. So unfortunately I can't help. So he said, this is the problem, just wait, I'll do something. So he went outside the house, and there was a tamarind tree, and from the tamarind tree he got some 7 seeds. The seeds of the tamarind. He got it, and he gave it to that person who had come for asking for the debt. Said, just take this 7 seeds. He was saying, 7 seeds he is giving it to me. What does he think of himself? But when he took those 7 seeds, it turned into 7 gold coins. And apparently, that whatever they had seized, they opened it and he ate nicely. So this man thought to himself, this guy has got some mystical power. Let me go and try to get some more seeds. The next day again he goes there and asks for some seeds. So he again gave some 7 seeds to him, and this time he saw that the seeds are not changing into gold. Said, Arey, yesterday it changed, today it is not. So he said, that much was your karma. That's what you got. You can't get more than that. So this is when he was 3 or 4 years old. Then there was a demon named Maniman, who lived near his abode in the form of a snake. Apparently in the biography it is mentioned the snake had 5 hoods. Sometimes the snake can have more than 1 hood. So it had 5 hoods. And Madhvacharya killed that snake with the toe of his left foot. Since he was so powerful, just by the toe of his left foot he killed that snake. And this was a demon which was there. His name was Maniman. When his mother was very much disturbed, he would appear before her in one jump. So he will be there somewhere doing something. He won't go to attend the classes. And the teacher one day caught him, saying that you are not attending classes. What is it that you are doing? He was doing wrestling. He was learning how to, primarily wrestling and weightlifting. So he said, why are you not attending the classes? Then Madhvacharya told all the classes that he has missed, including the classes that he is going to give in future. Saying that so I don't need any of those things. And he would be playing somewhere, and he will be doing something, and when the mother is worried or disturbed, in one jump he'll come from there to imagine the power that he had. So then he was a great scholar even in childhood, and although his father didn't agree, he accepted sannyas at the age of 12. Upon receiving sannyas from Achyuta Preksha. So he got a sannyas from Achyuta Preksha. What is his name, Bhakta? Where did he take initiation? Where did he take sannyas from? No, now I just told. Achyuta Preksha. Achyuta Preksha is Ekadandi sannyasi. Ekadandi sannyasis means who are Mayavadi sannyasis. So he took sannyas from Achyuta Preksha. Actually, those days there were no Tridandi sannyasis. We all, our Gaudiya Vaishnavas or the Vaishnava sannyasis are Tridandi sannyasis. But he took sannyas from Achyuta Preksha, and that's where his name changed to Purna Prajna Tirtha. So, though he took sannyas from Achyuta Preksha was actually a devotee, but he was not convinced within how to prove this Dvaita philosophy. So, Madhvacharya, who took initiation from this Achyuta Preksha, used to have debate, used to have conversation, discussions with him as to how there is Dvaita, there is soul and there is super soul, and they cannot be merged. There are two existences, the living entity and the Supreme Lord. They cannot merge. And he used to feel very good about, by discussing with Madhvacharya. Then what happened, this Mayavada was so prominent at that time. I will talk about that a little later when we go there, why Mayavada was prominent. But it was so prevalent and so prominent that Madhvacharya used to feel so suffocated and so disturbed and so angry. So he used to go and fight and debate with anybody, and he used to defeat them. So after traveling all over India, he finally discussed scriptures with Vidyasankara, the exalted leader of Sringeri Mutt. Vidyasankar was actually diminished in the presence of Madhvacharya. Accompanied by Satyatirtha, Madhvacharya went to Badrikashram. How many of you have been to Badrikashram? Badrinarayan Das? No. Badrikashram is up north in Himalayas, and apparently there are two Badrikashrams. One is called the Lower Badrikashram and another one is called the Upper Badrikashram. Upper Badrikashram is usually not accessible to people. The one that people go and get access is the Lower Badrikashram. But in the Upper Badrikashram, it is mentioned that Vedavyas still lives there. And Naranarayana Rishi, and there are other sages who are also living. So, why did he go there, Madhvacharya, to Badrikashram? To meet Vyasadeva. Though he took initiation, so it's an important thing, though he took initiation from this Achyuta Preksha, who is a Mayavada sannyasi, he actually always used to consider Vyasadeva as his guru. He actually met, so he traveled, as it is mentioned here, there was one disciple of Madhvacharya who was accompanying him by name Satyatirtha. So all these names I'll ask you, mind you, don't think that you'll be just allowed to go so easily. Satyatirtha is one of the disciples who used to go, who was accompanying Madhvacharya to this Badrikashram. But Madhvacharya told him not to follow. But nevertheless, he didn't listen, and he was following from that lower Badrikashram to upper Badrikashram. And there was a time when he didn't know how to cross those mountainous ranges, and he was stuck there. So Madhvacharya looked from the top below, and he did something with his hand like this. So that man, by that air, he went down to lower Badrikashram, and he was safe there. And Madhvacharya went, and he was not available for a few months. So all his disciples who had accompanied him there, they thought that Madhvacharya is gone probably. He's dead, or something would have happened. He's not there, something like that. Some terrible thing would have happened. But Madhvacharya went there, met Vyasadeva, and explained his commentary on the Bhagavad Gita before him. Thus, he became a great scholar by studying before Vyasadeva. So he received the knowledge from Vyasadeva, came down from Upper Badrikashram to Lower Badrikashram, and then immediately whatever realizations he got by meeting Vyasadeva and discussing with him, he gave the commentary to Satyatirtha is his disciple who wrote it down on iPad or laptop. Palm leaves. On palm leaves. But importantly, the commentary which Madhvacharya gave after coming down from Upper Badrikashram, meeting Vedavyas, was on Brahma Sutras. Unless somebody has given commentary on Brahma Sutras, he's not acknowledged as a Vedic scholar. So that happened when he met Vedavyas, came down, gave commentary to Vedanta Sutras or Brahma Sutras. How many Vedanta Sutras are there? Badrinarayan? Huh? 4, okay. Pandurang knows, a Vedic scholar. 5, okay, 4 से एक ज़्यादा बढ़ा दिया. Vedanta Sutra is only 5? 550, 555. So what did you think? No. 550. In our Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, there is one Acharya by name Baladev Vidyabhushan, who has written a commentary on Brahma Sutras, and his commentary is called Govinda Vasya, because he went to Govindji temple in Jaipur, took shelter. Otherwise, this Gaudiya Sampradaya was not accepted as a bona fide Sampradaya. So he had to go and take shelter of Govindji, and then by his mercy he could write the commentary. So wonderful. Not easy to write commentaries on Vedanta Sutra just like that. It's not like you read something in what is that? What are those online platforms nowadays? Udemy or something. What is that? Some other like Udemy? Coursera or something. You take a course and then you become an expert, and then you start writing commentaries on, or take help of ChatGPT and tell that I want to write some commentaries. It's not easy. It's very, very, very difficult. So Madhvacharya gave commentaries to this Brahma Sutras, after meeting Vedavyas in that upper Badrikashram. Then by the time he came to Anand Math from Badrikashram, Madhvacharya had finished his commentary on the Bhagavad Gita. His companion Satyatirtha wrote down the entire commentary. When Madhvacharya returned from Badrikashram, he went to Ganjam, which is on the bank of the river Godavari. There he met with two learned scholars named Sobhana Bhatta and Swami Sastri. Later these scholars became known as the disciplic succession of Madhvacharya as Padmanabha Tirtha and Narahari Tirtha. I will not ask this, but Satya Tirtha you have to remember. When he returned to Udupi, he would sometimes bathe in the ocean. On such an occasion, he composed a prayer in 5 chapters. Once, while sitting beside the sea, engrossed in meditation upon Lord Krishna, he saw that a large boat containing goods for Dwarka was in danger. He gave some signs by which the boat could approach the store, and it was saved. So he used to go and meditate on the Lord, the form of the Lord, sitting on the banks of the ocean. And one such day there was a boat which was struck in the ocean, and he showed some signs by lamps or lights, and the boat was saved. So when the boat was saved, he gave some signs by which the boat could approach the shore, and it was saved. The owners of the boat wanted to give him a present, and at that time Madhvacharya agreed to take some Gopi Chandan. You know why they carry Gopi Chandan in the boats? This boat was coming from Dwarka. But any idea why they would carry Gopi Chandan? So पढ़ लिया है, थोड़ा आगे पढ़. It acts as a balancing for the weight of the ship. So it is like a ballast, which is like having that heavy weight to keep the balance of the ship. So the ship was carrying a big lump of Gopi Chandan, and as it was being brought to him, it broke apart and revealed a large deity of Lord Krishna. The deity had a stick in one hand and a lump of food in the other. It's actually a very interesting pastime. How this, you still go, it's a very beautiful deity. How many of you have been to Udupi? 2, 3. Okay. You've been to Udupi? What does that mean? Either you have been there or you have not been. Achha, but you have not seen the beautiful deity of Udupi. Very beautiful deity. So, very interesting pastime about the deity. We will talk about it. So, I don't know, I mean, very unusual. Like, you come to this temple, there is a door, you enter and you come, and then you can have darshan of the Lord. But there you go, there is a big door which is made, beautiful door, nice, lot of money would have been spent in building that door. But the deity, when you come, the deity is facing opposite. The deity is facing opposite, and you can only have darshan through a window. And that window also has 9 small openings. Why is it? Very interestingly, there is one devotee of Krishna by name Kanakadas. So this Kanakadas was born in a low caste, and he was not allowed to enter into that temple. But he had so much of devotion. I'll talk about that. He's also a disciple of Madhvacharya. They are called the Haridasas, where they used to have this, intricate, complicated Vedic philosophies in the simple form of songs. And they used to have a lot of followers. So he used to sing this song, outpour of his heart, very nicely, melodiously. But he was never allowed to go and have darshan of the Lord because he was born in a low caste. So one day there was apparently a small earthquake, and there was a small opening on the other side of the temple where there was a wall. There was nothing actually. And from that wall he could give darshan. The Lord turned that side to give darshan, and the Lord is still standing like this. You can't, there is the main door is there, but the Lord is facing the other side, and there are these 9 small holes which are there. They represent the Navavidha Bhakti, the 9 process of devotional. The Lord will manifest in our heart only if we engage in the 9 process of devotional service. Pachaka Kshetra is the place where Madhvacharya is born. Udupi is about 20 kilometers from there, little far, 20-25 kilometers. Udupi Krishna. That is the deity which he got, the same deity which he got it in that boat. Gopi Chandan with having that stick in one hand and a lump of food in the other. That deity is worshipped, one of the most prominent deities in India of Krishna, this Udupi Krishna. And there is a lamp which is lit there. Apparently it has been lit since the time Madhvacharya was here. It is still, it's going on ever since that time. That's what it is mentioned. Udupi Krishna. Udupi, anybody knows what is the meaning of the Udupi? Any Kannada people here? Which part of India are you from? Mumbai, okay. You know what is the meaning of Udupi? I mentioned about one Shiva temple there. What was the name? Extra prasadam guaranteed. Did I mention a Shiva temple? कौन सा बताया? महादेव तो है. Atuleshwar Mahadev. And there was another one where his parents used to go and pray for 12 years, that they wanted a baby, a son. There is another temple there called Chandramoleshwar Mahadev. 2 famous temples. Before you go and have darshan of Udupi Krishna, it is a custom that we should have darshan of those 2 Mahadevs before we go there. So why did I ask this is, Udupi, Udu means Chandra or moon. Udupi, Pa means where the resting place of Chandra is actually on the head of Mahadev, right? You can see the photo of Shiva, there is a crescent moon on his head. He holds that moon. So there is a pastime, some other time we'll talk about it, that the moon actually came and took shelter of this Shiva. That's how the name Udupu has come, and it has become Udupi. One of the reasons why that name is. So anyway, the answer to your question is it's called Udupi Krishna temple. Very famous temple, very nice temple. So the deity had a stick in one hand and a lump of food in the other. As soon as Madhvacharya received the deity of Krishna in this way, he composed a prayer. The deity was so heavy that not even 30 people could lift it. Yet Madhvacharya personally brought the deity to Udupi alone. 30 people can't lift, but he is carrying it himself. 8 of Madhvacharya's sannyasis disciples became directors of his 8 monasteries. Worship of the Lord Krishna deity is still going on at Udupi according to the plans of Madhvacharya established. Madhvacharya then for the second time visited Badrikashram. So first time he went, he met Vyasadev. Kahan pe? Upper Badrika. Then he came down, he wrote commentaries on how many Vedanta Sutras? Very good. You are all alert. Good. So then he visited Badrikashram for the second time. While he was passing through Maharashtra, the local king was digging a big lake for the public benefit. As Madhvacharya passed through that area with his disciples, he was also obliged to help in the excavation. After some time, when Madhvacharya visited the king, he engaged the king in that work and departed with his disciples. This is an unbelievable thing. Another very interesting thing. Often in the province of Ganga Pradesh, there were fights between Hindus and Muslims. The Hindus were on the bank of the river and the Muslims were on the other side. Due to the community tension, no boat was available for crossing the river. And the Muslim soldiers were always stopping passengers on the other side. But Madhvacharya did not care for this soldier. So what he did was, actually he brought all his disciples and he held their hands. So he held one disciple's hand, the other disciple held another disciple's hands, like that they formed a chain. And Madhvacharya walked on the river. He could walk. And he took all of them. They crossed the river without the boat. They went to the other side. And the king on the other side was a Turkish king. And Madhvacharya went and spoke to him in Turkish. He was stunned. He said, so the Muslim king was so pleased with him that he wanted to give him a kingdom and some money. But Madhvacharya refused. While walking on the road, he was attacked by some dacoits. But by his bodily strength, he killed all of them. When his companion Satyatirtha was attacked by a tiger, Madhvacharya separated them by virtue of his great strength. So it's all because his Vayus, this thing. When he met Vyasadev, he received from him the Saligram Sila known as Ashtamurti. After this, he summarized the Mahabharata. So second time when he met Vyasadev, Vyasadev asked him to write a commentary on Mahabharata. First time it was Vedanta Sutra. Second time he wrote a commentary on Mahabharata. So Madhvacharya's devotion to the Lord and his erudite scholarship became known throughout India. Consequently, the owners of the Sringeri Mutt, established by Sankaracharya, became a little perturbed. Anyway, there is a lot to discuss. We are at 8:21. At least 4 minutes I'll take and conclude this whole thing. So one of the things which I want to tell you is the historical context in which Madhvacharya took birth and started this Dvaita philosophy. To understand this, we have to go a little back and see what was going on before that. So when there are not proper recipients of Vedic knowledge, the tradition is lost, and in the name of Vedic principles, there are a lot of unwanted things which happen. And one such thing which was very prevalent in the society in those days was animal sacrifice. So in the name of Vedas, people used to indiscriminately kill animals, and that is where one of the incarnation of the Lord as Buddha came and propagated this voidism or Sunyavad. So there is no creator, this creation is there eternally, there is a soul, and there is a birth and death, but we have to go to the stage of nirvana where everything becomes void, zero. You don't have to worry about anything, just practice ahimsa, good values. So don't kill these animals. If it is mentioned in the Vedas, reject the Vedas. This is what Buddha taught. And actually one should very thoroughly, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, very systematically Prabhupada has written how when this fellow Sankaracharya came, who started this impersonalism and re-established the principles of Vedas, defeated this Buddhism. What are the principal postulates, or what are the main characteristics of their philosophy of Buddhism? How impersonalism became prevalent after that, where he established. So the one small thing, since there were a lot of animal sacrifices going on, Buddha rejected the Vedas. Actually, the story of Buddha is so powerful. You know what is Buddha's name before he became Buddha? Siddhartha. Siddhartha. But Siddhartha actually was always protected by his parents not to go out of the palace. So when he became suitable to get married at the age of 16, there was a Swayambar, because in those days there used to be Swayambar to get the prince married. He went to a Swayambar where the girl already knew that she wanted to marry Siddhartha. Her name was Yashodhara. So she went, so Gautam goes there, Siddhartha goes there, and then there were other princes who said that this Siddhartha is a coward. He has never gone out of his palace. He has never hunted. How can he take the hands of? These are all match fixing. This is all fixed. She just wants to marry him, and you've just brought us. You've invited us just for the heck of inviting. So there was a contest which was organized, one archery contest and something else. Everything Siddhartha won, and he got married to Yashodhara. Then they came to the palace, and there was a prediction actually when he was born that he will take to renunciation at a very young age. So his parents were very protective. They were not allowing him to go out of the palace. But anyway, and they forced him to have a child. So there was a small child also who was born of Siddhartha and Yashodhara. One day when he was going out in the chariot, the king had already made arrangement that there shouldn't be any old man, diseased man and dead man. But the demigods made such a plan that all of them were there, though the king had instructed that nobody should be there. And the charioteer of Siddhartha is known as Channa, who was taking Siddhartha. The first time when he saw an old man with grey beard, grey hair, so Siddhartha asked him, is it that everybody has to get old? So he didn't want to say yes, but as if somebody was forcing his jaws to give that answer, he helplessly said yes. Every one of us has to get old one day. Then he saw another diseased man who was going. He had some ooze in his body. Something was coming out, pus. He was suffering, and he asked again, "Is it like each one of us have to go through this?" He said, "Yes, all of us have to go through diseases." And there was a dead body being carried by some people, and he asked, is that all of us we have to die? He said, yes, it's as sure as death, we all have to die. So just these three things when he saw, Siddhartha had that transformation, and he left the palace. He had a beautiful wife, he had a nice child, but everything he left. All these things, we should also see in our day-to-day life. What do? We somehow want to become big by studying. Somehow we want to do some business or get into some good job, have some salary, and then we run after some beautiful girl or a beautiful boy and get married, because that's what the whole world is attracted towards. And after you get married, I should have a child. Somehow or other I should have a child. And then we take care of the child, get him married. We don't realize that after that we have to grow old, we'll have diseases and we'll die. So when Siddhartha saw this, it struck him so much that he left everything. Because if this is the reality, what are we doing? It's all illusion. And he went and he became Buddha. And he started his own philosophy, which is called Buddhism. And this Buddhism was spreading like anything, because he converted few of the kings. Then came Sankaracharya to establish the principles of impersonalism. And it is a plan of Lord to send Sankaracharya. It is mentioned in the scriptures. Shiva himself talks to Parvati in Padma Puran, and he says that how he is coming as a sannyasi in guise to propagate this Mayavad, to confuse people, but to establish the principles of Vedas. And then comes Madhvacharya, when there was so much of confusion, when there is Mayavada prevalent, when people are confused about existence of God, what has to be done, and started this wonderful thing called Dvaitavada. That's why if you see his photos, he will have these two fingers which says Jiva and Lord, they are separate. They can never be merged together. And since he was the incarnation of Vayu, he was so strong. When he used to speak, the audience used to be enthralled. His voice, it was so powerful voice, and he had so much of energy and charisma that he used to convert even the big Mayavadis. So on this disappearance day, there is one thing if we have to remember, we should pray to Madhvacharya, such big Acharya who has come in our own sampradaya, that we should understand the value, the knowledge which is transferred in this parampara to us. If you think, a mango which is there in a tree, if it has to be given to us in its full, in its full characteristics, with all the richness of it preserved, it has to be handed down. It cannot be, you can't just throw and eat mangoes on your own. It has to be handed down. When it is handed down, the mango in its own, in its pristine, pure form can be relished. And that is what happens when somebody takes the knowledge in parampara, in sampradaya. So on this auspicious day, we should pray to Prabhupada, we should pray to Madhvacharya, that we get shelter of a pure devotee, and by his mercy we can come out of this cycle of repetition of birth and death, come out of the cycle of this ignorance which keeps us entangled in this material world. It's already 8:29, so we'll not have kirtan. I'll have quiz for 2 minutes. 8:31 we'll close. Okay. Um, so who was the one who was accompanying Madhvacharya? Okay, raise hands. Very good. Okay, let's go to Subham. Great. Okay. Um, first time. Okay, this question I've already asked. I shouldn't ask this again. What was the name of the initiating guru of Madhvacharya? Don't know. I asked you that question even that time. Again, this is Achyuta Preksha. Okay. What was the first time when Madhvacharya met Vyasadev? What did he write commentary on? Vedanta Sutras. What are the four sampradayas? Very good. Who's the main Acharya of Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya? Who's the main Acharya of Kumar Sampradaya? Nimbarkacharya. Who's the main Acharya of Rudra? Vishnu Swami. Who's the मधुरी को थोड़ा हमको नहीं ब्रह्म मध्व नहीं पूछेंगे What are the two characteristics of a guru? सोच के बताओ. Answer मत दो. No. Of course, he has to be in the parampara, but Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam. He should be fixed on the platform of Brahman. He should have heard this from his guru. Good. So this is what is Madhvacharya's life. Little bit we got a glimpse of him. We heard about him. It's very purifying. If this was interesting, if this something you liked from this, tomorrow we're going to have about Ramanujacharya. It's like, action thriller. It's an adventurous thing. What kind of an Acharya he is, my God. And how people don't know about. If any movie has to be made on him, it'll be a blockbuster with all, AI and all. If they do it, what all he has done is unbelievable. And the temple of Trichy and Srirangam, fortunately, people don't know. They are all in some world lost, and that attraction for this knowledge is not there. But we will hear about the glories of Ramanujacharya tomorrow. We'll stop here. Madhvacharya ki